This gaming monitor is perfect. I've got my hands on the ASUS ROG Strix XG32UCWMG. It is a glossy 4K OLED 240Hz 32-inch monitor, and it is by far the best display that I have ever used. In this video, I'll cover its key features as well as showing you a bunch of gaming and movie examples to give you a great idea of just how fantastic this display really is. But first of all, let's get this monitor unboxed and check out what's included inside. Whilst the outer box isn't anything special, it does outline some of the key features. These include a TrueBlack Glossy coating, a 0.03 millisecond response time, 3-year warranty, as well as dual mode technology which allows you to seamlessly swap between 4K 240Hz and FHD 480Hz, which is essentially making this a 2-in-1 monitor. But I'll cover these and several other features again in more detail throughout this video. So inside the box you get your standard paperwork and some stickers, as well as this cool little case that holds a screen cleaning cloth, power cable, ROG branded DisplayPort cable, USB A to B cable, but surprisingly no HDMI cable is included. Also inside the box you get your power brick and this VESA 100x100 adapter if you don't wish to use the included stand. Speaking of, this is the main stem of the stand and it features ROG branding and a cable management hole to keep things nice and tidy. The top of the stand also features a 1/4-inch thread for attaching things like your webcam or some lighting, which is a really cool addition. As for the base, it's quite understated, which I personally love. It's thin and doesn't cover a huge surface area and has very subtle branding. I honestly really like this stand. It's sleek, practical, and most importantly keeps your desk space as free as possible. Just before we go any further, ASUS are currently running their back to school campaign with some great deals for students and gamers. From now until the 29th of September, you can get cashback on loads of products from motherboards and power supplies to PC cases and of course monitors. The offer is available through all big UK retailers like Amazon, Scan, Enquiries, Argos, and the ASUS store itself. All you need to do is head to the link below, upload your purchase invoice for a qualifying product, and you'll get your cashback on your order. Simple as that. With the stand now set up, it was time to check out the monitor itself, and you could immediately see its quality. It has this bold ROG logo on the back, which is also an RGB light zone, and honestly I think it looks great, although sadly I'll hardly ever see it. But let's get it attached to the included stand and take a look at it all together. The monitor design definitely has a gamer vibe to it on the back, but honestly I think it looks awesome. The screen itself is incredibly thin, which gives a nice sleek look to it, and from the front it's clean and simple with these nice thin bezels to let the screen quality do the talking. In terms of adjustment options, this stand supports height, tilt, swivel, and pivot adjustments, although some of these are pretty stiff out of the box. Then taking a look at the ports and connection options, we have two HDMI 2.1 ports and a DisplayPort 1.4 on this side. Then on the other side we have a USB Type-C port, 3.5mm headphone jack, and a USB hub with 4 ports, as this monitor does support KVM switching. For power, menu navigation, and to change settings, you will use these buttons at the bottom, which are honestly pretty intuitive, although you can also get the ASUS Display Widget app for easier control on PC. But I'll go through these settings and options a little later in this video. And with one final peel, let's take a look at this monitor in all of its glory. And as far as I'm aware, this is the first 4th Gen W OLED monitor to have a true black glossy coating, and it looks phenomenal. Now this is my first ever glossy monitor and my mind is blown. I have a window behind me, so I thought this was going to be a disaster, but it's absolutely not a problem at all. The screen is plenty bright enough to negate reflections and for them not to become a distraction, and honestly everything looks so much better on a glossy screen. It's probably one of those things you've got to see in person to truly appreciate, but you can probably tell just how hyped I am. It honestly looks so sick. I am fully in love with it. Looks aside, let's talk specs. This monitor comes packed with gaming focused features to make this the best monitor I've ever had the chance to use. With this being a 32-inch 4K monitor, you've naturally got a very high pixel density, which makes for some incredibly crisp text and gives everything on the screen a natural sharpness and clarity that looks even better on a true black display. Another standout feature that this monitor has is its dual mode. This allows you to swap between 4K 240Hz and 1080p 480Hz with a single button press if you want to give yourself the competitive edge in games like Valorant. As well as this, you can also change the screen size to either 24.5 or 27 inches if you find 32 too big for gaming, but honestly I think it's perfect. The ROG logo under the monitor not only helps when you want to adjust the screen's position, but it also has a functionality. It contains a near proximity sensor which detects when you move away from your desk and turns the screen off, which helps against any potential screen burn-in. Oh, and you can also turn off the red LED on the logo for a stealthier look if you prefer. The display also features HDR400 True Black and offers 99% DCI P3 color gamut and true 10-bit color. All of this combined with a 1.5 million to 1 contrast ratio, 0.03 millisecond response time, and up to a 480Hz refresh rate make this a monster for gaming. But whilst this is marketed as a gaming monitor, it is equally excellent for both productivity and watching movies. And I'll be showing showing you plenty of examples shortly, so stick around. But in terms of overall screen quality, this ROG Strix monitor is flawless. It's bright, vibrant, sharp, and the glossy finish is just the icing on the cake. And when compared to a matte or anti-glare display, this is truly levels above. This new TrueBlack finish is fantastic. It deals surprisingly well with reflections and keeps those beautiful inky black levels even in bright room conditions. I honestly didn't think the glossy screen would work for me, but it not only works, I now don't think I could ever go back to a non-glossy display. This just feels right. Before we take a look at some examples though, let's check out the user interface. First of all, I've got to say that this is a pretty ugly UI. You've got this stunning 4K display and the UI has this chunky, horrible looking text. Now don't get me wrong, this really doesn't matter at all. It's just it doesn't match the quality of everything else, so it really stands out to me. Aside from that though, the menus are very easy to navigate and intuitive. For example, you can easily jump in and change your brightness, contrast, sharpness, gamma, and even specific hue and saturation levels for different colors to suit your preferences. Further down, you can also find the OLED care menu. Screen burn-in is still a concern, but thanks to these built-in features, you can significantly reduce the risk. These settings are all switched on by default, but they don't get in the way and they give you that extra protection layer if you are concerned, although with a 3-year warranty, you've always got that there to fall back on. So yeah, this is the user interface you would see if you plan to use this monitor for your gaming consoles, but on PC, you may also opt for the more refined app that I mentioned earlier in the video. But now it's time to have some fun and check out a bunch of gaming examples on the ASUS ROG Strix XG32UCWMG. And thanks to my newly upgraded PC with an RTX 5080 graphics card, I am able to take full advantage of this gorgeous monitor. Games at 240Hz on this crisp OLED glossy TrueBlack display just look incredible. I forgot to mention that this monitor does also support Nvidia G-Sync and AMD FreeSync Premium Pro, ensuring you're getting the best possible experience from your rig or console for all games that support variable refresh rates. And with all of these gaming features and monitor specs combining, it makes for the best gaming experience I've ever had, and I mean that with my hand over my heart. I literally downloaded a whole load of games just to see how they looked on this gorgeous 4K OLED display. From racing games to RPGs and competitive first-person shooters, I had a flawless experience. This is truly the best way to experience games, especially those that allow you to take full advantage of the 240Hz refresh rates at 4K, which granted does require a pretty good PC. However, even though you can't enjoy the 240Hz benefit on consoles, I think this monitor is still perfect for them, as you can get that beautiful 4K at 120Hz, just like you see on the best OLED TVs, but instead it's on this 32-inch display, which is perfect for a desk setup. I genuinely can't praise the monitor enough. It is hands down the best and most beautiful monitor I've ever used. But that doesn't just go for gaming. Movies, anime, and TV shows on this monitor are just as stunning. All genres of content look great on this display, although I found that anime in particular pops and just looks so good. Obviously, a darkened room is optimal for the best viewing experience, but I am really impressed with how bright this monitor was even on sunny days. The combination of a 4K res, great brightness, TrueBlack glossy coating, and WOLED make this ideal for movies and general content consumption. I never really considered watching movies at my desk before since I have a nice OLED TV behind me, but honestly, this thing is going to make me recline my chair and move even less. Okay, but how is this monitor for actual productivity, which I definitely do, right guys? Jokes aside, once again this monitor excels in this category. With excellent text clarity, 10-bit color depth, and a 99% DCI-P3 color gamut, this is simply perfect for my video and photo editing needs. And even with the window right behind me, whilst I can of course see the reflections if I focus on them, when in use I honestly don't notice them at all. And thanks to the glossy TrueBlack display, you don't have that haze or washed out look that you see on matte finishes, making this display look sharper and more color accurate. So what are my overall thoughts, and should you buy it? Being surrounded by the latest and greatest tech, I find that I don't so often get excited by things anymore, but this is a standout and I am not exaggerating my opinion at all. So this specific model will be available for $949, which compared to other monitors with similar specs is actually pretty reasonably priced considering the feature list, and of course that brand new WOLED TrueBlack glossy coating. The only negative I can actually think of aside from the UI is that it's so good that I might never leave my chair again. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to keep this monitor or not just yet, but I absolutely want this to be my primary screen for the foreseeable future, and I would love to share it with you guys again in a full setup tour. From the size and resolution to the design and specs, it really is the perfect monitor for me. If you want to find out more or take advantage of the back to school cashback promotion, then please check out the link in the description. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and thank you to ASUS for giving me this opportunity, but as always, all thoughts and opinions are my own. Thanks again, and I hope to see you all in the next video. See ya.